Connecticut Mix fans? Welcome back to another amazing episode. And I'd like to start us off with a little story. It's a very short story indeed. Let me set this up like this. So I once booked a DJ gig so bad that the crowd started throwing napkins at me. This is a true story. It's a real true story. So Safe got me through that mess and a prayer to never do it again. Now, our guest here, Sam. He's got 25 years in this high-end game. And Sam, your journey's got to top my napkin nightmare. So, why don't you do us a favor, Sam, and welcome to the show, by the way, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, I've been excited about this myself.
Yeah. So my name's Sam Austin. I'm a director and principal at a company called Gulf Coast Entertainment, GCE, as we call it. Gulf Coast Entertainment is kind of a long thing to get out there. And what we do is we book entertainment, musical entertainment specifically for high-end galas, weddings, nonprofits, corporate events. And we're there from the very beginning, from the minute you sign the contract all the way to when the band or DJ or national entertainer loads out. So, and that's what we facilitate the whole thing. And we think we're pretty good at it.
I like it. So especially coming out of Houston, man, we talked about Houston and how they have a real cool scene for hip hop music, that goes far back. Cause I remember, I'm a little young, to UGK. I was a huge UGK fan. And so, I know you have touched some great entertainers in your day. So take us back, man. How did you even stumble into this talent booking world?
Yeah.
Was there any mentors, holy nudges that got you started?
It's interesting. I kind of fell into it as an accident. And, the way it started was, I've played in bands my whole life, ever since middle school.
Yeah.
And we didn't have YouTube back then. We didn't know how to do it. We just got into a room and we figured it out. So started playing, did that, get in high school, was playing in bands, and we started booking our bands. And we didn't have Facebook and anything like that. We had to go out there and we would go to Kinko's and print up 3,000 flyers, right? And just hand them out in high school, put them on people's windshields and things like that, and hope people would show up. And it was crazy. 500 people would show up to a club in Houston called Fitzgerald's. We'd sell the place out. The bartenders hated us because it was all high school kids and no one was drinking. It was like one of those things that just started me down this path of figuring it out.
Right.
Yeah. Mediocre student, luckily got into college. And when I got into college, I realized look, if I blow this thing, I got to go home. So figured it out, started booking my band in college. And then after college, what led me, such a funny story. We were stuck in Houston, kind of a bad economy. My wife and I were newly married, and I had a friend who was swinging high-end blue jeans in Los Angeles. Okay. And he said, I feel like I'm a pretty good sales guy. I was like, yeah, I can sell anything. So my wife and I move out to California, pack up everything.
Okay.
And go out to LA and try to sling blue jeans. Well, it didn't work out. And I've moved out to LA. I have an apartment I've signed a lease on. We have a new car. So I have two options. I can put my tail between my legs and go home, or I can figure it out. And I go back to this quote all the time. Marcus Aurelius quote from Meditations is the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. So you can just, like I said, you could figure it out. But what happened was I'd made these connections in Houston, working in guitar stores when I was in high school and in college. I picked up the phone and I called a company called Groove Tubes. They made electron tubes for guitar amplifiers. I knew the owner and I said, hey, I want a job. I want to stay out of California. And he said, yeah, come on down. Let's figure it out. It was half the money I was making, but I got to stay in LA. And that was my foot in the door in the music business.
Nice.
Yeah. And so it happened. The obstacle is the way, as Ryan Holiday says all the time. And it was run by a guy named Aspen Pittman, who really became a mentor to me. He was the best salesman I have ever met in my entire life. This guy was incredible. He could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves. I mean, this dude was good. And he taught me so much about audio and music production and sales. And we went around all over LA. We were in Capitol Records. We met all these producers, worked with a guy named Greg Ladani who produced a whole bunch of Jackson Browne records. And that's really like what set me on my path in the music business.
Nice one.
Yeah. So, and I learned so much from him. And God, he was hard on me. He was so hard on me as I was learning this. I was in my 20s, didn't really know what I was doing. It was years later that I had realized what he was doing. He was pushing me to my breaking point, and just learned so much from him. And he's really one who's still the work ethic that I have today that I carry with me to Gulf Coast Entertainment. So I'm kind of rambling here and going too long. Stayed out in LA. I lived out there during the housing crash of 2009. And that's when we decided it was time to come home to Houston, and came back home. And my wife came back home, and I was working in the music business here, building guitar amplifiers with a company called Diamond Amplification. And I wanted kind of a change. And my wife's a wedding photographer and works in the high-end event business. And she was talking to Andy Eifler at Gulf Coast Entertainment, who's now my partner at Gulf Coast Entertainment. He said, "Hey, my husband's in the music business. He's looking for a new job." And I knew how to put on a show. I knew how to book a band. I knew a little bit about high-end events. And that was almost 10 years ago. So we've been booking bands, booking high-end bands for high-end events, and doing things like, booking national entertainers to play in people's backyards. You want Harry Connick Jr. to play in your backyard? We can do that. We can make it happen. So that's how I got into it. That's how I got in the private event space. Then Susie Kreiner, my other business partner at Gulf Coast Entertainment, she's become a massive inspiration for me. She started GC 46 years ago.
Okay.
And this woman is incredible. She started booking bands, didn't really know how to do it, opened a club and figured it out, as she says. So you see the theme going here. And I lean on Susie like every day. I've never heard her say an unkind thing about anyone. And the other thing is she's like, her whole thing is never stop learning. She's been doing this for a long time. And she still says to this day, not a gig goes by that I don't learn something.
Love it.
Yeah. So she's such a cool person. I think like every week, I can run into any kind of situation, anything that looks complicated or there's a struggle there. I always ask myself, what would Susie do in this situation? And the one piece that she said to me that stuck with me forever was always do what you say you're going to do. And that's a big part of GCE, and what we do is we always do what we say we're going to do. That's what led me to the music business thing, the music booking business thing.
Yeah, and you was fortunate enough to like pivot and run into people, man, who are just honest people and people who has a passion for this industry. When you went into California, you could have just stopped right there. We won't even know who you is right now. I'm just grateful for that, man. When we talk about running to people who's like produced some of Jackson Browne's song, like, Everybody I Talk To is one of the songs that I can recall. He talks about people being ready to leave with the light of the morning. It's about the idea of people, coming to deliverance, or people must come to deliverance, not a certain group of people. That's deep, man.
Yeah.
So your journey is just as deep. Your journey is kind of reflective of that.
Well, I mean, every day is a miracle. You think about it. I mean,
yeah,
it is just the small things that had to happen just for you and I to get on this podcast today. Every single coincidence had to happen and had to line up.
Yeah.
That's every day. Every cool thing that ever happens to you. Think about the hundreds of things that had to happen,
Right.
And the cool thing is the planet's billions of years old, and we were we got to live in the same time as David Bowie. I mean, that's,
realize that, it's things we take so much for granted, and some of the great people that have passed through and that's still here. We just take it like it's nothing, but we can pull lyrics, we can pull quotes. I mean, you mentioned Marcus Aurelius, who's one of my favorites, but this stuff is still available, man, and we can, use it to our advantage. And, I love that, man. And I love that, people who's conscious to that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a wonderful thing. And that.
Yeah, it is, Sam. Sam, you probably hit a wall, and, and for a moment, and a deal probably tank or a client probably flake. But the main thing, the most important thing is that faith probably pulled you out of that ditch. Was there a time like that?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, there's certainly different events, but it's always trying to turn whatever situation you have into a positive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed.
Really, the first thing I always ask myself when things go off the rails is this going to kill me? No, it's not.
That's
These
a
are,
good one.
these are small problems in the big scheme of things. And I keep going back to this, going back to the figuring it out thing. That's what I just got good at is, there's always a way to, not just give up, but look at the solution. And maybe the situation didn't turn out exactly how you wanted it to be, but be grateful that it turned out the way that it did when it is successful, or even if it fails incredibly, learn from that. I mean, everything is a learning experience.
Yeah.
I do have here's a funny, interesting story. When things have gone not the way they're supposed to go, I was working with a close planner friend of mine who I work with all the time. I'd come back to Houston off of a week in working in Hawaii, which wasn't a bad deal, but I was jet lagged.
No, not at all.
I have great clients. I have great clients. Fly me all over the country, and hey, can you help us with a band in Hawaii? Absolutely. But I'm back and I'm jet lagged and I'm tired. And it's kind of, so I'm laying down, my phone rings, and it's from this planner friend of mine. And I pick up the phone. I go, "Hey, what's going on?" She goes, "I'm in Florida. I have a hip hop artist that is sick and can't make the show. Can you get something together for me?" I say, "How much time do I have?" She goes, 6 hours. Good. So I'm in Houston. He's in Florida. Hip hop artists can't make it. These are national entertainers. I'm not going to mention any names.
You don't have to.
Yeah. But he's sick. He can't make the show. But I start thinking, I was like, okay, connections. People I've made connections with in the past. Who do I know? Who's in Florida? Blah, 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 blah. Bam, I hit it. And I know a hip hop artist who's in Florida. I call up his manager. And I said, "Hey, I got a situation. Can you put a show together?" He goes, "How soon?" I go, 6 hours. He goes, "Okay, I'm jumping in the car. I'm going to the airport right now." DJ's based in Dallas. He's based in Florida. And we start advancing the date. Advancing the date is when you do all the stuff before to get everything rolling. So I have production. I have some hospitality. He goes, "Yep, I got it. I'm jumping in the car. I'm going to the airport right now." He's booking a flight. Said, "Okay, I'll do everything else. Call me when you land." He lands in Florida. It's the artist on stage. Gets the show, gets everything set up. And with 30 minutes to spare, our headliner shows up and closes out the night and does his 30-minute set. And the first hip hop artist was supposed to be a surprise. So nobody even knew. Yeah. We just swapped it out. But it was, and just swapped it out and made the show happen, and everyone went nuts. And it was better than it was going to be. They got a bigger name. They got a great performance. I kind of look at it like, we stayed calm, we stayed relaxed, we looked at what we had to work with, and made the thing happen. At the end of the day, everyone was stoked. And I like to think of we're like the CIA, in the music business. Like all of this happened in the background, and nobody knew what happened.
Right.
But it's one of those things. It's like you do enough of these gigs, be nice to everybody. Be cool. Do what you say you're going to do. And when these things pop up and you got a call in a favor, you can make it happen.
Yeah. I can hear the angels clapping on that one, man. So I love it, man. That got me soaked just thinking about it. And like you said, people don't realize how much work go into putting this stuff in, and then they just see the show. They don't ever see what's going on behind the scenes. I know my grandmother, I always mention this on every episode nowadays, but 23 number soul, he restores my soul. That keeps me sane, and when we talk about this industry, we have watched it evolve. And Sam, you have watched the scene evolve from mixtapes to $1 Million Bashes. Is there any type of way that, or what is the way you keep your soul in it? That's really the question.
I mean, that's easy. Music is my first love. That's it for me. I mean, um, it's the feeling you had the first time, or the first time I saw in seventh grade, seeing Nirvana on TV, seeing them on MTV. And like, I said, what is this? Yeah. And we didn't have Spotify. I'm dating myself, right? We should have LimeWire.
Hey, I remember that too. I remember LimeWire,
Yeah.
yeah,
We had no LimeWire.
the pirating.
Yeah. None of that.
Yeah.
We had to, feel like if you wanted to tape, your buddy had to make it for you.
Yep. Yep.
But God, it just did something to me. And that it's just been ingrained in me. And I do it for the music. I do it for her. And it moves me to this day. A day doesn't go by where I don't have something playing in the background. And so that's why I do it. And that's, and even I tell people this all the time. I quote my friend Boyd Fletcher, is my job is better than most people's vacations. And I'm extremely thankful for that.
That's powerful.
And yeah, I mean, I tell people this all the time. Do what you love. Do what you love and the money will come, as long as you're good at it. Put everything you've got into it. And there, and I'm romanticizing it, but there's bad days. Absolutely, there's bad days. But gosh, I mean, my bad days are pretty great.
Especially when you got a foundation. Yeah. Yeah. Most people don't have a foundation to just fall back on and keep them going. Music is incredible. Sometimes I can't even work without music. I'll be sitting back. It's just too quiet. So I got to throw something on. It's beautiful, man. Like how do you roll with like the punches as like the entertainment went from like grungy clubs to like the private jet parties?
Yeah. So we do these super high-end events for high-end clients and everything. And really what I love about it is everything's a puzzle piece. Mm-hmm. And the production element of it. And how do you, get a full production setup in somebody's backyard and make sure the artist is happy and make sure your client is happy and managing all those expectations, that puzzle, that challenge. I mean, I live for it. And, so I think I learned everything from playing in like those kind of clubs and playing in the grungy clubs on Sunset Boulevard is, we had to park our cars 5 blocks away, pick up our gear and slug it down Sunset, throw up on the stage and play for $40 and a cheese sandwich. And then, and by the way, we paid $60 to park. So we're $20 in the hole.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. But, just to, I think you learn so much from those challenges. Like, well, I can push through this, man. I got a whole team behind me. I can make this massive thing happen in somebody's backyard. So I take a lot of that DIY kind of rock and roll punk thing and translate it into a high-end event where you just take that drive. It's the drive, it's the push. And it translates really well. I think that answered your question.
I'm more than answering my question. Like, Sam, you don't know, man. You dropping gospel here today. Like, the entertainment guys are smiling upon us.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Seriously, man. So we gonna take a quick break, man, and we gonna check in with Sam, who is just like letting us know, like for those who are out there, like especially my audience, but specific audience, faith and hustle can carry you anywhere, even past the napkin-throwing haters that I have encountered. So be on the lookout. We'll be right back with more with Sam Austin.
Are you tired of starting your day feeling unmotivated and foggy? I want to introduce you to a coffee that not only tastes amazing, but also helps you start your day with purpose and clarity. This is a premium coffee blend that I personally created. It has a rich, smooth taste that will energize your mind and sharpen your focus so you can take on the day with confidence. But that's not all. This coffee is also ethically sourced, which means that we work directly with the farmers to ensure that they are paid fairly and that their communities are thriving. And here's the best part. A portion of the proceeds from every bag of coffee goes towards mental health initiatives and community development projects in Uganda and Rwanda. So when you drink this coffee, you're not just enjoying a delicious beverage, you're also making a difference in the world. And right now you can get a 12 ounces bag for just $26 that is less than $2 per cup. It's time to start your day the right way.
So we're back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Connected Eating Mix Show with your host, Marcus DJ Potential Heart. And we got Sam Austin, the incredible Sam Austin, on with us today, bringing us all of the gems we need, as well as like just good laughter, good smiles. If you've been following along this whole time, make sure you do share this with someone you know, someone you don't know, and hit that like and comment and subscription button. So Sam, man, how do we turn our burnout when we burn out from this thing into Sam level swagger? So give me 3 steps.
Well, look, so burnout, we all deal with it, right? I mean, it happens, but I think the best thing to do is I'll walk away from a situation for a few minutes and clear my head. Going for a walk is just a huge thing. Everyone makes fun of me in the office because all I do is pace around when I'm on the phone, or I'll just just to kind of clear my head after a phone call. But I think it's focus on something else for a minute. Get out of your own head. Look at the situation from a different angle, and see if you can think about it differently that you may haven't thought of before. And we constantly have to do that. I mean, things in the music business and things when we put together these shows, they shift all the time and they change.
Yeah.
The band's coming in late. The band was to come in early. Your production team is a few minutes late. This is like one thing I tell a lot of people is with these high-end events is understand a little bit about what everyone in the room is doing, because it's not just the music guy. We have florists, we have decor people, we have a kitchen that's making dinner for 300 people. Understand their business just a little bit and understand that, and this goes across the board for anything. Think 3 steps ahead of what you're doing to help accommodate other people, and people respect you for that. If the florist has to load in at 3 and they're going to block the dock up, you got to make sure your band gets in at 2. And, and for example, the kitchen's cooking for 300 people. The band wants their dinner at 5. Is that going to mess up the kitchen? And, and if you think about those things rather than just going to your chef going, hey, I need my dinner out now, and understand what they're going through, it makes you better prepared on the day of your event, and more respected by you other vendors. Hey, knowing that you've got their back, they've got your back, and we're all going to play nice in the sandbox. In this industry, this high-end event industry we're in, it's a small world, and everybody talks. And it's just an important thing just to be professional and work with these people and know you're going to run into them again and be the best partner you can with them on event day.
So many moving pieces. So it's got me scratching my head, man, wondering, like, how do you even pick the gigs or clients to begin with, like that vibe with you, and rather not just picking them based upon how the wallet size going to look?
Yeah. So we're in a very lucky situation where a lot of our work is word of mouth.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you'll notice that if anyone goes and looks me up on social media afterwards, they'll see everything's on the Gulf Coast Entertainment website. Like my Instagram is private, because I have kids and I don't want those photos out there. Facebook's pretty locked down. Most of my business comes from referral. People that have worked with me before, or they say, hey, if you want to do this, you really got to call GCE. They're the ones who really know what they're doing, and you're going to have a great show, especially with the big trend that we're seeing in the national entertainer space of having these headliners come in and play weddings and play corporate events. We really have it down to a science about how good we are with it.
Yeah.
And so there's a certain amount of trust there.
Okay. That's interesting, man. We definitely got to commit to our plans, and but when we commit to them, we got to lend them over to something much bigger than us. And, it seemed like you found your beat, man, quite well. And I can just imagine, I would definitely need some coffee, some prayer to do what you do, man. We got our own coffee transform your coffee, and man, I need tons of that.
Yeah, it's run on caffeine and empty stomachs, and you push through. It's but we have a great team with Annie and Sarah and Elena and Susie in our office. We all really take care of each other. We have each other's backs. On show day, we always check in, like, have you eaten today? There's those kind of questions, like, oh yeah, that's why I feel terrible.
Right. So is that behind the secret, man, for flexing, man, like a pro? Just having that team behind you, people that really care about you and also care about the mission.
Yeah, it's your people. It's your people that you surround with, not only within your organization, but in the high end event space, it's the other vendors and planners, AV people, back of house. It's all of those. It's such a team effort for these massive, massive lifts. And like I quote Scarface all the time. He had that line, like, we make the impossible look easy. I know that's not the context he meant it in, but every day we make the impossible look easy.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's how, like, you got this reputation now, man, and this rumor for, like, that your events are, like, truly unforgettable. A lot of people don't know how to, like, keep you develop a formula to keep it going. So how do you amp that magic, man? How do you create it?
So, how do you create an unforgettable event?
Mm-hmm.
Once again, it comes down to your team coming up with a concept, trying to come up with something people haven't seen before, or make it exciting, whether it be the decor, or maybe it's a band they've never seen before, or maybe it's a new party band that's on the scene, or maybe it's just an old classic that needs to be revisited. We treat every event as its own living, breathing thing. And I always like to talk to clients and figure out what their ultimate goal is. They come to me and they say, we just want a really great band. I say, okay, that's awesome. That can go a whole bunch of different ways. Let's figure out the best fit for this event. The other thing, as I say, is never force a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people try to create these moments that just need to be organic, and you just need to let them happen, rather than trying to direct the whole night. Lean on your team and let them do what they do best, and let them create. And that's really going to make the difference between a good event and a great event. It's not to force the good time. And when you have these incredible organic moments, I have a story about that, where we were in Hawaii and we had booked a band out of Nashville called Six Wire, which is a great Nashville country band. And they had a celebrity sit in with them. We booked a band called Low Cash, who was amazing. And we're at the hotel pool before the show, and a couple of guys look over and go, hey, man, is that Toby Keith over there? And it happened to be Toby Keith was staying in the exact same hotel as this event was going on. So we kind of casually walk over to him, and the tour manager for Six Wire casually walks over and says, hey, we're going to play in this hotel ballroom later tonight. Do you just want to come and sit in? And he goes, yeah, man, after dinner, text me and we'll see. So we just left it at that. Not force the good time. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Well, Six Wire goes on stage, and the tour manager for Six Wire gets a text that says, Big Daddy's in the lobby, come get me. We walk out there and grab Toby. He goes, okay, you're on in 10 minutes. Something like that, however it goes. And didn't tell anyone, didn't make a big deal about it, didn't force the good time. And they announced Toby Keith. And he comes out, does 2 or 3 songs. The crowd erupts. There's no way you could ever top this event. But we let it happen organically. We didn't push it. We didn't force the good time. And this was several years ago. He passed shortly after that, probably one of his last few performances. But we got to witness this thing happen, this incredibly beautiful thing in a room full of people singing songs. But that's what we did. We didn't force the good time. We just let it happen. And that's really a big part of it, is once everything's said and done and ready to go, you just got to let the night flow.
Love that, man. That is true. That is truly epic. And that is, just sucking in the moment. Don't just let it come to you. Let it flow. We call that mindfulness in the psychology. The holistic psychology area, I'm just mindfulness. Just be in the moment,
Live in the moment. So, put the cell phone down, man. Enjoy the show.
Exactly. You truly answered my next question, was like, what is the trick for, making these events hit differently, like giving people something to buzz about and want to come back to, or, say like, man, how did you put that together? So like, that's great, man. So, this is what I got out of our conversation today, man. like first, especially for this last part of the segment, it's like being able to find your beat, being able to flex, man, how you flex and making it epic, you teaching us how not just to survive, but building our own stages and putting like a little bit of like sprinkling some faith and some other things in the middle of it, So, man, I appreciate you for that. You go.
Thank you so much. Well, I really do appreciate that. Yeah, just do what makes you happy. That's the big part of it, man. You only got a limited time here.
Exactly. It passes by so quickly. So, Sam, I know, you got a way for people to like, if they want to check out like some of your work or whatever you're doing. You mentioned the website. Maybe tell what that website is, and if people want to like reach out to you, how can they do it?
Yeah. www.gulfcoastentertainment.com. We have links to all of our socials there: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And you can email me at sam@gulfcoastentertainment.com or info@gulfcoastentertainment.com. We're not hard to reach. We try to keep everything easy and fun, and we want to have a good time. We want you to have a good time. We want you to enjoy your event, enjoy your party.
Thank you so much, Sam. You are truly a beast, man. Thank you for dropping 25 years of like diamonds today. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I can't wait to replay this episode back and start it with a coffee for the day. So like those who out there, you got the website. We're going to drop it in the episode description and all of our places where you can listen to podcasts and YouTube. And do me a favor today, if you love this, share it with your burned out buddies. Smack that subscribe button. Catch us next time on the Kinetic Thinking Show. Face your mic, drop it loud. We are out.
Transform You Radio. You are now tuned in to Transform You Radio. You hear me? Check. I stand for what you stand for. I'm at your door like the landlord. I can see the future, yeah, I fast forward. I get on the mic and I transform. Follow me, I'm in rare form. Follow me on this world tour. The asteroid that you can't avoid. Small changes make impact. I ran for it, I stand for it, I'm not sitting back. You can leave the rap race or you can leave the trap. Come with me, let's rap. Take a trip and we pack. And we'll be right back. Come with me, let's rap. Take a trip and we back. And we'll be right back. I stand for what you stand for. Hey, I get on the mic and I transform. Follow me on this world tour. The asteroid that you can't avoid. Follow me.